Welcome back. My name is Erika, and I'm the founder of Her Digital Empire and Boss Babe Digital Lab, the beauty DIY store on Etsy, and it also has its own website, bossbabedigitallab.com. Today, I'm going to be doing a Probo training for you, and it's going to be on one of my most sought after items, which is edge control. So typically, the most popular edge control label is a circular label. And so we'll be doing that top circular label today. Okay, so first things first, you want to make sure that you have Photoshop. We will be doing this in Photoshop today. Okay, so the next thing is we have to get our canvas set up correctly. So, and then if this is your first time really listening to one of my trainings, I am known for not doing everything perfectly or the right way or whatever. I didn't go to school for graphic design. I taught myself everything. I was able to teach myself graphic design and started making six figures in my first year. I'm now in year 3. We're doing amazing. We're pushing for 7. It's been beyond crazy. But now what we've done is we've really focused on our education aspect and teaching other girls how to do what we do so that they can also have the same success that we have. Or, if you're just a business owner yourself who, you've already made the money, you're trying to make the money in that specific business, you do not have to be a graphic designer to design your own labels. You can design them with my tutorials. So definitely before we get started, I just wanted to let you know who I was. And definitely check out my website, herdigitalempire.com, where you can check out more tutorials, more trainings, and all the stuff that we offer. So with that, let's get started. So the first things first, you want to make sure you have a Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop CC. We're not designing in Canva today. We are not designing in any other type of editor today. So, if you're asking me if this is going to work on a different app or something, I don't work in apps. I only work in Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. Today we're working in Photoshop because that is what I mainly teach. And you can absolutely do labels in Photoshop. So, what we're going to do today is let's set up our canvas. I'm going to assume you already have your Adobe Photoshop application open on your computer. So the first thing is let's name this. Okay, so we're going to name it Edge Control Label. So there's 2 actual sizes. The typical sizes for edge control are either 2 inches or 2.5 inches. Those are the typical ones. I actually, if you're not sure, you can always do like a 3x3, and then you can always have the printer size it down if needed, or you can size it down later, or since you're designing this yourself, you can absolutely size this down. That being said, we will do 2.5 by 2.5 today. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to set it up for the original size, which is 2.5 by 2.5. It's going to be a circle. Resolution always needs to be 300. It should be at least 300. That's what most printers ask for. Your color mode is going to be CMYK, which is typical for print. However, I know a lot of the new printers can print in RGB. However, the majority of them will ask you for CMYK. Your background contents really don't matter. You can set it for black, white, transparent, whatever the heck you'd like. You're going to be, typically if this is for like a proof, I like to have a background just so, if necessary, I can put my watermark easily on it, right? And let's go ahead and create. So now that we have our element, let's add some bleed. So first thing you're going to do, if you don't have this on your Photoshop setup, you're just going to go to Window and not Window, View, and you're going to make sure that Rulers is selected, okay? So you're just going to make sure Rulers is selected there, and that will come right up, and you can actually drag from it on both the top and the side here to the edges. This is going to create our safe line that we need to kind of keep all the important elements within, so that, because in between this and the line we're about to make is the trim line where typically a printer will cut, okay? So what I do, and other people, may not do this, but typically a printer has a trim line 1/8 after the safe line. So what that is that's actually half of 0.25. So what I will do is I'll actually go to inches, I'll add 0.25. So it would make this 0.75. Make sure that extension color stays the same color as your other one. And then click OK. And now what that's going to do is that's going to create this extra space. So remember how I said that the trim line usually goes in the middle of the end and the safe line? I just throw that in the middle right there because it's really not the most important. The most important really is the safe line. This kind of just guides me and keeps me, you know, from going too far so that my clients' stickers are no longer printable, okay? And a lot of the times, clients will be printing these at home, or you may be printing these at home, and the trim line necessarily isn't always necessary. So it just depends on what you're working with exactly. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to select the circle layer, and you're going to drag from the tip of the canvas to the next tip until you see that nice cross, that pink cross come. And you're going to go ahead and uncheck that, and that will be, unclick that, and that will show up. And for now, we can make it black. So why do we have these lines? So these lines essentially are, we want our border like right about here, so that even if it's a thicker border, we're not worried about how much is cut off. So it's not like this small, little line on the outside. So this is what I do. Now, this really depends on what I want to do with, like the logo and things like that. A lot of times I have clients who say, oh, I don't have the transparent logo or whatever. And in that case, I'll actually make 2 layers. And that second layer is the stroke for me. And I'll just remove that fill, okay? So what that does is that makes the stroke like its own layer on itself. And that's always the easiest way to do this. However, if you don't want to do that, you can actually put the stroke directly on the circle itself. And it's the same effect, right? But, if you want to put like a pattern or something, something cool on this, which you don't necessarily need to if it's going to be clipping, it actually won't affect the stroke on it. But there's just been occasions where I've needed to actually put this on over the background layer, which I do, right? So as you can see, I've left enough room here for the trim, which is great. So now that we've got this, and if you say to me, oh, well, where did you get that gradient, right? This gradient, it's actually free. You can just Google like Photoshop gradients, or you can make your own, or I even sell some. I sell styles in my shop that you guys can check out too. I have all these, like, this is from my shop. A lot of these are from my shop. That's from my shop. So these are kind of just like a one-click style for you, or gradient for you to use when you need to. And as you can see, I've gotten other people's, gradients and stuff. So you just collect these over time, right? And then as you get more and more comfortable, you'll start just making your own and matching to either your branding or your client's branding. So let's actually use gold. So we'll go back to gold. And we have our nice border, okay? So the next thing that we're going to do is I actually like doing 2 borders. So I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm actually going to Command T. I'm going to transform this and make sure that this little link is checked. And I'm going to push this guy down within that line, okay? So now what we need to do is we actually need to make this a lot smaller. And now I've got this nice second line. So depending on the design and the style that my client wants, typically I like to make this glitter. However, some clients have a different look, and maybe it needs to be a solid, or it needs to be a gradient, maybe a different color gradient, depending on what the client needs. Now, where did I get this glitter? It's the same thing. You're going to go, you can search on my shop, and you can look at patterns and stuff that are available, and you would save them as patterns, okay? So now we have this nice pretty border. Okay, so typically there's a logo. I do not have a logo today, so let's make a logo. So let's call this luxury. Let's grab a different font. This font is called Black White. And this is not necessary if you have a logo. I'm just making one. Hair. Okay. Just using like a dummy name. I don't know. Just so that we have something. There. And there's the logo. Okay, so now that we've made our own logo, I want the design to look, classy as well. So I am going to call this edge control, of course. Normally I like to match to the brand. However, I'm actually going to try Antonio. I'll grab the same effects from luxury, see how that looks. Pretty. Okay. Edge control. And we can put like no flaking, extra hold. I don't like going beneath 6 for my my font size, just because since we're designing in a raster software, I just want to make sure that the printer is going to be able to print it. So I try and keep things at a certain like size. And that's usually my limit is 6. So what I did was I pulled the same gold that I got from luxury. And you know what? Since you probably don't have this, I'm actually going to give you this gradient. So what you'll do is you'll go to gradient. You'll just click any gradient that you want to, and you'll actually match your gradients to mine. So for instance, this is location 0. Location 0 is FEF580. That's location 0. Then you'll do another one. Make sure that location is 12. That's going to be 917854. Okay. Then you can go to location 26, make a new one. And that's going to be 63441A. And you can go ahead and pause, and I'm trying to kind of go through this fast so that you have this, but you can pause and, you know, rewind if you need to go over this again. You're going to jump to the middle to 52%, FEF5A0. And then easily you can actually pull from here and just click over here and change the location to 74. Pull over here, click over here, change the location to 88, pull over here, change over, and then click over here and make the location 100. And that is your gradient that we have been using, okay? So you'll be able to use this gradient. Okay, so we have our edge control, no flaking, extra hold. We can put the ounces. So we'll put 4 ounces. That's the typical for this size. I actually like always making the ounces Arial. I don't know, it just looks corporate-y and professional. You can do like net weight, you know, how many ounces or whatever. Some people just like to put 4 ounces. And there you have it. You have a nice, cute edge control sticker. So all you would do, okay, let's say this is for you. All you would do is take that background off, save as, save on your computer. You would save as Photoshop file, a PDF, okay, make sure as a copy is not saved, and then you would save it to your computer. You can upload it to like Sticker Mule, Uprinting. Another thing you can do to kind of like help with the finalization process is outline your wording. So if there's gonna be no more edits, you can actually select all the wording that you have, right click, convert to shape. And this is gonna create vector-ish layers. So when the printer goes over, it actually makes more of a clear look when it's printing. So other than that, I'm going to go ahead and go back so that we have all of our edits. There we go. But yeah, please enjoy. Definitely comment on this video if you ended up using this for yours. Maybe if you can, send us pictures, post pictures on social media or something. And we will definitely see you on our next training.